Okay, now this looking at this Velazquez painting, it's really a pretty cool painting. Now this was done right after he came back from taking in a trip to Italy. So what we see is that he picked up really quickly the grand styles or manners of the Italian. So it's really, what we see is a lot of Italian composition here now. And it made a major shift in his approach to organizing pictures. So one of the main elements here, when you think about Italian composition, it's always the idea of transition, leading the eye and playing differences. So as I go through this, I'm going to be emphasizing the idea that we're starting with the frame, and then that there's a series of movements that take us across the picture, and then we're coming back. So he's taking, and that's sort of like the major element here. So now as we look at the figures, we're starting on the left-hand side. Notice that we're talking about the beginning. Everything begins with the frame here. And so right at the beginning, we have at the top, we have a strong vertical to begin with. This is repeating the frame. Now the figure on the left is taking and pulling in and leaning all the way over in this direction. So you're seeing this movement going across. He's actually pushing out, and you notice that the arm, the leg here, maybe I need to draw this with something a little bit darker here we can see. Okay, so now we've got the head coming over here, going in, arm, we can see this coming across, and it's coming right across into another horizontal here, by the way. The horizontals and verticals are neutrals. It's the diagonals that create progressively the colors that we're taking and working through. Everything else, you notice, is fairly neutral. Now we're picking up the blue here, is picked up in the blue back here. Now this figure is taking and coming forward. Now he's actually leaning into the picture. And so this is taking and going this way. Okay, the hand is up here, arm coming down across. And then we're here, then we can see that in the background here, these figures in the background are really subtle now. They're very played down, value-wise, and very simply painted. But again, we're taking and repeating, taking the blue across here. We have the red is here, taking and working into the red, subdued in the background. So now what we've got is a series of progression. Now, as we look at this progression, notice that all of the figures line up in a diagonal going into the picture. So we're taking in the feet coming down. Now we're coming down all the feet here. We got this. And everything is building through into the figures and going back in here. Now this is all in the background, but going back in space. Now, as we move through here, notice that this line, now this actually carries through and is picked up into the robe on Jacob's lap. The drapery going across, and then we start to think about going in the opposite direction. So now we're getting all of this, the figures going in, so this leg is going back, the beautiful value changes. It's a gorgeous painting. Okay. And the individual figures are interesting. So take a look I'm going to take and do some drawing from some of the figures in here that would go along with some of the things I've been doing with the skull. But you're going to see, I'm going to draw focusing on the idea of the structure, for instance, of the head in this one figure here. Okay, so this is very, very clear, simple. Look at the differences between this and the other painting that it was done earlier. And you can see the contrast before, when he went to Italy, and those from before. And so then we have after Italy, which was really getting all these beautiful movements going. And the ones before, it's a beautiful painting, nicely organized, but it doesn't have that flow that we see in here, which is an example of the traditional Renaissance idea. Let's take and go and do a little drawing into the figures here now. Now I'm going to go back into this with a pen, and so now as he's going through, look at dealing with this, the head here, and over. Notice the way he uses, even the shape of the hair goes over the surface, taking and giving us a feeling for the volume, direction. This section is pretty much just a simple cylinder. Now, as he's going in, he really pushes the shoulders going up. So we really feel the anatomy is used and as a way of helping to take and show the action. And as he's coming through, we get a rhythmical play of the way he's working with the tone. Here's this. Come through. And we also, the way the light is taking and working and coming across. Now, pull. As things get a little bit lighter or a little bit what I would call atmospheric perspective, they get less intense as they move back. And so we feel these forms. And we've got, you can see now how this taking and coming through. This, by the way, works with the vertical that we're coming down. It works off the frame and coming through. And you can see that a lot of the movements in here now, all of this stuff plays right up into where we go with the robe, the arms coming across. There's a series of horizontals. We go through here, coming into here, the whole play where we're figuring coming up the tile floor. But then when you put a diagonal